Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, where we keep you updated with the latest developments in the global currency revaluation space. Today's report brings a major twist in 2025's currency story, one that few saw coming. While much attention has historically been placed on the Iraqi dinar, a surprising contender has now emerged at the forefront: the Vietnamese dong. This shift is sending shockwaves through the community of dinar holders who may need to reconsider their expectations moving forward. Let's explore the data, trends, and reasons behind this dramatic change. For years, the Iraqi dinar has been viewed as the top pick for a future currency revaluation. Backed by oil-rich reserves, post-war rebuilding goals, and regional strategic value, Iraq's currency carried hopes of a significant increase. However, by 2025, a new reality has begun to settle in. Despite signs of modernization, Iraq continues to wrestle with internal instability, political deadlock, persistent security issues, and financial reforms that are still unclear. Many longtime investors who once believed that the dinar was on the verge of a breakthrough are now starting to reevaluate their outlook. In contrast, Vietnam's progress in economic development has captured the spotlight. Once seen as a quiet player, the Vietnamese dong is gaining traction in financial discussions due to its economic momentum and international partnerships. The country's economic foundation is much broader than Iraq's oil-dependent model. Vietnam is a manufacturing powerhouse producing electronics, textiles, and machinery. It's also a top destination for foreign investment, with companies from the US, Japan, and South Korea relocating manufacturing operations there as they move supply chains out of China. This inflow of foreign capital is increasing job creation, boosting exports, and raising GDP. And investors are acting on it. It's not just speculation, real financial movement is happening, and Vietnam is becoming a common name in global investment portfolios. Vietnam is projected to achieve a GDP growth rate exceeding 6.5% in 2025, a figure significantly higher than the average for most developed nations, struggling to exceed 3%. This growth is the result of long-term planning, smart economic policies, and deepening trade ties. As Vietnam gains credibility through international trade agreements like CPTPP and RCEP, its status among investors only strengthens. These agreements support exports and build investor confidence by signaling transparency and commitment to economic cooperation. Meanwhile, Iraq's situation remains complicated by outdated financial systems and uncertain regulatory progress, limiting its ability to compete on the same global stage. Vietnam has also modernized its banking sector, aligning with global standards. The country's major financial institutions now facilitate smoother and more transparent currency operations, allowing for easier access to global financial networks. In contrast, Iraq still struggles with fragmented systems and regional disparities in financial services. Evidence of serious preparation is also showing up among global financial institutions. Internal reports from major banks such as Citibank, JP Chase, and Wells Fargo suggest that infrastructure for potential VND redemptions is already being put in place. That level of readiness rarely occurs without solid reasons. It points to real planning for a currency event. This is a stark contrast to the IQD, where many US-based banks have yet to establish a clear path for processing large-scale exchanges. Even in diplomatic terms, Vietnam is moving forward. The United States recently elevated its diplomatic ties with Vietnam to a comprehensive strategic partnership, a prestigious tier just below formal alliance. This signals trust and cooperation, elements critical for financial partnerships and revaluation acceptance. Iraq, by contrast, is still caught in cycles of political instability, making it more difficult for global powers to fully engage in or support its economic initiatives. This diplomatic momentum isn't just symbolic. It has practical effects in the financial world. Forex analysts throughout 2025 are reporting a noticeable uptick in trading volume for the Vietnamese dong. Large-scale buyers, including hedge funds, institutional investors, and regional banks across Asia, are acquiring VND in bulk. Additionally, exchange-traded funds and currency futures markets are now incorporating the dong into their trading baskets. This surge in attention is a major signal. Financial players are not only expecting a revaluation, they're preparing for it. Compared to the IQD, the Vietnamese dong is no longer just a topic of speculation, it's becoming a component of structured investment strategies. The shift from theory to execution is what sets this moment apart. For dinar holders who have waited patiently, this pivot in global financial sentiment is hard to ignore, and it's being further reinforced by remarks made at global policy events. At the 2025 Global Currency Forum, several well-respected former International Monetary Fund officials publicly named the Vietnamese dong as the leading candidate for a managed revaluation this year. These professionals, who have overseen large-scale currency operations and global financial planning for decades, suggested that the VND might undergo a controlled appreciation by Q3 2025 under IMF guidance. These aren't online rumors or anonymous sources. These are seasoned economists making direct and verifiable claims about the direction of currency markets. What sets the Vietnamese dong apart in this moment is its technical readiness. The Central Bank of Vietnam has spent years updating its digital infrastructure and integrating with international banking networks. Should a revaluation be announced, the system is capable of handling it with minimal disruption. Iraq, unfortunately, remains behind in this regard. Many regions still operate on outdated financial systems, with dual currency setups and limited access to digital banking. This lack of nationwide readiness poses a significant risk to any rapid implementation of currency reform. Other currencies in the speculative space, such as Zimbabwe's ZWL, also lack the structural support and global trust necessary for a successful re-entry into the financial mainstream. While Zimbabwe has launched a new gold-backed version of its currency, the necessary confidence and banking framework still lag far behind what Vietnam has accomplished. In every key area, from trade integration and economic diversification to digital banking and international trust, Vietnam is outperforming. And this progress hasn't come out of nowhere. It's been years in the making through calculated reforms, strategic alliances, and consistent global cooperation. Now, in 2025, those efforts are beginning to bear fruit. Looking ahead, most expert forecasts point toward a phased revaluation of the Vietnamese dong starting as early as Q3 2025. The process may begin with a moderate repeg to a basket of stable Asian currencies, or the US dollar, followed by a potential full market-based valuation adjustment in Q4. This methodical approach contrasts sharply with the uncertainty and confusion still surrounding Iraq's long-anticipated currency overhaul. Some trading platforms have gone even further, projecting that the dong's value could rise by 300 to 500%, not over the course of a decade, but possibly within 60 days. If this projection plays out, it will mark one of the most aggressive and well-exceeded currency events in recent memory. Meanwhile, Iraqi dinar holders remain in a state of limbo as the Central Bank of Iraq continues refining its roadmap, and the U.S. Treasury has not issued any updated guidance for IQD exchanges. This isn't necessarily a signal to abandon belief in the Iraqi dinar. Rather, it's a moment of clarity about where short-term potential currently lies. The VND is showing tangible movement backed by infrastructure, policy, and international trust. For those holding Vietnamese dong, it's time to stay closely tuned to further updates. For dinar holders, patience may still be warranted, but diversifying awareness could be a smart move in this changing financial landscape. Thanks for joining us at Iraqi Dinar News. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next major development in the currency revaluation world. Stay informed, stay sharp, and most importantly, stay ready.